Bob, your mic.
My green light's on. Have you got? Oh, it's on now.
I would like to say happy birthday to our fellow counselor, Bill Lawson.
You do that. Happy birthday, Billy.
Thank you, Oscar.
Bonus points today for either Oscar or Bill, I'm not sure. Okay, council meeting minutes, January 16th. Any errors or omissions? Motion to approve, please. Thanks, Richard. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, if any, it's carried. Okay, we have a few delegations today. 9:30, we have Len and Laurie from Arm Lake, and then we have Mr. Snow talks about a medical van thing from Vermilion. Quarterly report from the RCMP, and the foundation's back for something. Money, I'm suspecting. Ag Service Board. He's a guy that runs a medical van, and he goes and he does it's medical but I don't know, he can tell you.
Transfer unit.
A transfer unit,
Yeah.
I never know. Yep. Nope, he was all, well, he's trying to expand it a little.
One post-it note, Shirley? I'm ready.
Good morning, folks. Okay, we have the report in front of you. Any questions or comments of the report?
Where's Flat Lake Hall?
Envy of Bonnyville. I haven't been there myself yet, so I'm gonna have to do some Googling.
We've been there. We've been up there for
Have
zone
we?
meetings. Go straight north on 881. It's just before. I think it's just before Highway 28. It's on the east side of the road. Okay. Anything else? Anybody have any questions or comments out of their report?
Just as an addition for ours, we did have our Crop Opportunities workshop last Thursday, and we had 36 folks come out for that one. And tonight we have our Prairie Pests workshop out in Chauvin, and we have 61 people scheduled to come out. So.
Good. Anybody else have any questions for these fine folks? Not, I need a motion to approve the report.
Billy?
Thanks, Bill. All in favor? Opposed, is carried. Okay, scale. Okay, if you guys want to kind of just lead us through it, what your options are, what you think, do.
So basically, we had sent the cattle scale in for some calibration work, and it was determined that there was various repairs that were required. Shelby got them to give us a quote, and the estimated cost is around $7,340 plus tax to repair the current unit. I looked at one example of a new one, and that's some other municipalities may have. 19 to 21,000, and you also have a graph there showing the usage. So the usage has been greatly diminished over the last few years, so just bringing it to council for their direction on how they want this handled.
How much usage was it again?
Pardon me?
How much usage did you say?
It's in the chart. So basically, starting in 2010, 3, 6, 3, 5, 7, 5, 6, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 0. In 220 was the last one that was listed here.
So the options, repair the existing scale for $7,300, look at buying a new one, or due to the limited use, decommission the current scale and do not have one going forward, or no action and let it sit there broke down.
So then, James, you had 2 people use it and 21. Are they 4-H groups?
The 4-H aren't recorded in those numbers.
They're-
The 4-H groups aren't recorded in those numbers.
So
4-H is 1 or 2 times in addition to that.
Okay, so those 2 are just paying customers.
Yes, that's based on income, all of these numbers, on who paid the rent.
So it's not really worth it to have at the scale. That's what I get out of it.
That's up to council decision.
But even the ASB board talked about fixing it and donating it to a 4-H club, but there's a vast different group of 4-H clubs, like I don't know how they would store it and use it together.
Yeah, I think that's,
I mean, just to not cut them off kind of thing, you know what I mean? But it just doesn't,
That probably
it doesn't seem
won't
feasible.
work very well,
No,
not conducive.
no. Hard to make them,
Yeah, I understand.
Where do we store it?
At our yard.
Inside?
so you have to load it, unload it each time it's taken out.
It's just hooked with a hitch. and
Like we
you
did
lower
talk
it.
about all those bits that you could try
Yeah.
to help them out so that we're not cutting them off, but
Yeah, it's not, I mean, I guess repair is repair, but I mean, a new one at 20 grand, that's a little rich.
no.
so what did you decide?
To
Rob?
bring it to council, because you could repair it for
Yeah.
the 73, like have the Ag Service Board pay to repair it and then donate it. In
Yeah.
the sense that we wouldn't rent it, I don't know.
Yeah,
Did
sir-
you make any decision as a
No,
board,
sir,
though?
it wasn't taken to the board meeting. It
No.
was a side discussion prior to
Sorry.
coming to
Okay,
council. That's why
okay.
it's coming to council.
We tried to look at
Well,
all.
it'll come to council anyway for capital
Yeah.
purchase.
We couldn't really decide
So-
what was best for.
So what's your wishes, folks?
Well, personally, I think we should get rid of it. I don't think there's enough people there using it. And I don't think it's, why would you buy a new one if you get two people using it?
Yeah.
So I think myself, then I'd put it up for bids,
Sell it the way it is?
sell it the way it is, yeah. There's no sense putting any money in it.
You want to put that into a motion then?
I will.
Okay, Billy moves that we put it up for sale as it sits. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Okay, cushion car tilt trailer.
So basically, as per our capital plan, we got bids or quotes here on a cushion tilt car trailer. So it's 4 feet longer than our existing trailer, so we'll be able to haul our equipment. Our old one that was in 2007 was not long enough to haul the equipment. And as per this, that 2007 utility trailer would replace a 1996 utility trailer in the Public Works fleet, if council accepts this.
Okay, so by just looking at your graph, OJ's is the one you're recommending?
It's
that-
it's the one that has the least points deducted.
Yeah, okay, that's good then, I just want to make sure
What's
it's clear.
the add-on at -1 mean for OJ's?
The add-on -1 is there are the bumper cushions, a winch plate, and 4 tie-down points that are going to be added to the trailer that OJ's is getting. So the bumpers being added, that's all in that price. That's included in the price, but it's an add-on. So that was we docked the point because it was added after the original manufacturing.
It's not something we have to do in-house or anything?
No, it comes complete.
These are all the same weight, bearing?
Yes. Yeah, we had a spec sheet go out, and they all had to check which specs they were, and then we went and evaluated, and that's why you see points being deducted. If they didn't have one of our specs, they lost points.
I'm just wondering why Paul's, we repair these trailers.
Well, their cost was higher.
I believe, I'm not,
That's why I was wondering, is there something that we're missing?
the trailer, and they get it from another manufacturer, the trailers that they sell. The other manufacturer that I believe they get them from is also on this list.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Okay,
You want to
Well,
make a motion, we purchase the OJ
okay,
trailer?
okay, Robin moves that we get the one from OJ's, any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, it's carried. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.
That is a lot better, large, apartment, so they're usable on both sides. This thing's gonna sit 7 months of the year.
I think it goes wherever they need it. Ranger. Yeah, I think it's used for a Ranger.
Does it take the brush out for the Bobcat too? Or they, that
No,
attachment goes on?
it's
No, it
used,
all
they're
goes
gonna
on
use
that
it in the
tandem
scissor
dually.
lift and the gator, so it's multi-use. Public Works has access to it too. There should be no defining who gets what.
It's a big debate,
No, I know. Turf protection is pretty,
pardon?
there's a bit of turf protection.
Thank
There's a
you.
bit of turf protection. Gentlemen, seems to be. And how are you doing today?
Good, how are you guys?
We're doing okay.
Good.
Okay,
Can you hear
we
me
have
okay?
the Director's Public Works report in front of us. Anybody have any questions, or is there any questions you wanna, anything else you wanna inform us, Preston?
Well, things have been going fairly steady since the Christmas break. I mean, we haven't had as much snow, but it's been a little bit icy out there.
Yeah.
So the guys been working on that. It's a little bit of a challenge. This last weekend we had a little bit of snow. We had a couple issues with trucks, some hydraulic hoses and stuff like that through the weekend, but nothing major. So all in all, things have been going fairly good and fairly steady.
Okay, anybody have any questions of Preston?
Are you happy with the bulrush removal at the lagoon?
Because of the softness of the ice, that's the best they could do right now.
There's
But
still
yeah,
a
I-
lot
I-
left in there, hey?
Yeah, there's a bit left. Got more bird tape going up this week.
More,
Yeah.
okay.
So, bird tape?
Got streamers on every post.
So
Oh, okay.
bird
Looks like
tape
a
is,
birthday party.
It's a silver tape with like a diamond background on it, like you might see on road signs, I guess.
Yeah.
My understanding is what happens is as the birds are flying over, they see the flash from these bird tape, and my understanding is they believe it could be the eyes of predators. So
Fly away.
they decide not to land there, I guess. So there'll be more bird tape coming up and be more prominent as well.
Will they push and pile that out then, like it's just laying on the outskirts of the fence, is it?
It'll be all collected up, yeah.
Okay,
Just be
before
back.
the project starts.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Okay, anybody else have anything? I get a motion to approve Preston's report.
I can do that.
Thanks, Bruce. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay, safety.
Good morning.
So how things going in your department, Ray?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Couple of things went on here the previous month. We had a open webinar, with the invite to all the employees. We took place in the council chambers here regarding all the new upcoming changes to occupational health and safety that take in effect March 31st. So that was a pretty good turnout. Preston mentioned a bit about it, but went to travel to Green Shields with them to introduce myself to some of the contractors over there looking out for the project. Offered my contact information in case any safety inquiries come up. First aid training scheduled tomorrow. Back at that, we got some expiring certifications happening this year, so we're going to get a head start on that. Interviews have been booked for summer student program and the Riverdale Mini Park. So that's coming up this week. Had a webinar set up for our greenskeeper along with myself coming up in March. Just talking about growth regulation and some soil nutrient analysis for the greens out there. Other than that, yeah, she's getting geared up for the opening season here.
Okay. Anybody got any questions or comments for Ray?
Really appreciate your help with the shack, the skate shack. That was a nice turnout, and you guys helped with the wood and, well, and helped with the whole day. I appreciate it.
Couldn't ask for better weather either.
Just
Pretty
great.
good.
Yeah, thank you for that.
No problem.
Okay, could a motion approve it, please?
I will.
Thanks, Richard. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, paving tender.
Okay, so the numbers came in. This is a partnership, at least part of the project. Schedule A, which is Canola Road, is a partnership with the town of Wainwright. So you can see that the portion for the MD is 2.692 million and some change, and then the town's portion, if we're approving this, would be 732 to 1056.
Okay.
And this would be the paving for Township Road 444,
Yeah.
which is Ellis, we call that Ellis
Yeah.
Hotshot Road.
Yeah.
And also First Street, and then there's some bridge work that's going to take place under the airport, Canola Road as well.
Okay, what do you want to do?
So is this price before the government or after?
It would before any kind of funding, Bruce.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No funding's confirmed at this point. We should find out about that, you know, the new government fiscal year, which is the end of March.
Okay, if you want to proceed with it, we need a motion.
I can do that.
Thanks, Bruce. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed or any?
Is that part of the Gormley Road?
Okay, culvert settlements.
Okay, I had a few inquiries about potentially looking at fixing culvert dips while this contractor's available in the area doing our pavement work. So I did an assessment and went out there, and it's somewhat subjective, of course. I mean, some culvert dips are sharper than others, so I picked 14 of our worst ones. And we did a anticipated cost based on 2021 of 11,000 to 2023 pricing of approximately 13,000. And I got a estimated price from the contractor that potentially would be doing the paving job at 13,350, which would then give us a financial implication of approximately 186,900 to proceed with 14 of these culvert dips, if we choose to do so. Of course, I would have to give them a map, show them the locations. We'd have to look at sizing. This is the idea, was the sizing was, you know, previous to what we fixed before. And then we would get a firm price from them for sure. But approximate cost is probably about that 187.
Okay, I got some, I think.
I got 182 in my
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah, like I
That was
said, that
based on
was
13,000.
an estimated cost, but I have a firm cost of 13,350.
Yeah, I think we should be doing these because you're not going to get any better, and we're not going to have, might possibly not have another paving crew back for a while, so we should get them fixed while they're here, so. Probably should entertain a movement if you guys wish to go ahead with it.
So you think this would be cheaper because they're in the area than bringing somebody in, or putting it for bids, or whatever?
That's the idea, yes.
But we're not sure.
Yeah, well, we did it the last time we did it, we had it, it cost more money when we bought a crew in, and we struggled with it, getting them done properly. We've done it a couple of times. We've
You
had
save on
times
your
we-
mob fee,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
you save on site off days. So if they figure it's gonna take them 5 days to do them all, they add that to, you know,
Yeah.
another contractor would add that to their pricing. Where these guys are here, they save on the mob fee, and you save on the days that they're here to do it. The idea of it.
yeah. Last time we did it, we did it twice. We had once we used a
Yeah.
contractor here, then we brought somebody in, and we struggled with the ones we brought in.
Typically, that's how it looks, yeah.
Yep, yeah.
And that's not the same crew that's doing this. I mean, the last time they were too high, they were raised way too high. It was
Yeah.
worse than they were in
Yeah.
dips.
We had to get somebody to come back and
Yeah,
flatten them.
that's right.
That wasn't the last time. That was back,
Twice a week.
Last
Two
time
times
that
a
was
week.
remember.
pre-2018, 2019 about.
I know it was.
So the last time we did culvert dips was in 2021. That was when we paved or overlaid on terminal, and then we did 422.
Oh, okay.
That was the last time. And they were done, they were milled and
Done with
inlaid
it.
and set up
Yeah.
correctly, yes. So,
I think if you're using a paving contractor, you've got a better chance of, I think, getting a better job. They're here. And,
you definitely want them milled and inlaid, so that'd be
Yeah.
part of the language when they go for a firm price to make sure they have that in hand, what we're looking for.
Okay, what's your wish?
I'll make the motion there, we proceed
Okay.
with the repair.
I think we should come in with a firm price. So this is an estimated price, so
Yeah.
I think you should
Oh,
give
I
me
thought you
the,
said this was firm.
no, this is an estimated price dependent on location and so on and so forth from the contractor. So
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
give them, because I didn't have enough time to communicate all that with them, right?
Okay.
So I got an estimated price to see if you guys wanted to proceed with it, and then I'll get a
So-
firm price and bring it back
Okay,
next meeting.
you don't need a motion for that then.
Yeah,
I'm-
we should, just to keep it, so that he's got something to go forward, so he
Yeah.
has authority to get this. I
Unless
think-
you want to put the cost at no higher than.
No, just,
I think just,
just get a cost and bring it back, make a motion to get a cost and bring it
a
back.
firm price for next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay, power line move. This is kind of one that caught us a bit off guard, but.
So when we worked on Range Road 30, some of our poles were on the private property that had to be moved, so it's in our cost to move these poles. I'm not for sure understanding on the foresight on this, but the implications were $13,751.82.
Were they just put in, Press?
Well, no. My understanding is even though the pole's there and we buy the 100-foot, they're still considered on the private side.
It's because,
Those poles, we could have bought the 100-foot 5 years ago, and those poles were private then, and they'll still consider private until they move them, or we do a construction job, and then we have to pay to move them, if that's what it requires.
see, the issue is it was an REA, and
Yeah.
REA poles are on private property and everybody else poles are on our property, so Fortis bought the line, Fortis took over the line, and they were REA poles, so they're classifying it as private property, not on their lines. So that's why we have to pay.
How many of them is
I think there's 3 or 4. I think it's 3, actually. So it's
So
not
this
about-
is 13.7 for all three?
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I don't know, I guess.
Is
Gotta-
it firm on that? 'Cause that doesn't, to me, don't make a lot of sense. They bought the line knowing that they would have to do something. It would be no different than having their own line, whether it's REA's line or Elizabeth. Transal's was bought it. That was part of the buy was to look after that line. I don't know why all of a sudden we're having to buy poles.
We've gone through this with Fortis. We sat down with Fortis, and just last year we approved another similar move like this in the area of $56,000, I think it was. We tried negotiating with them. We got it down from 17, I think, to 13. Is what we worked with. They're probably not going to move on this.
That's up in your area, Bob, or Bill, or who's?
This is your area,
It's in your
Oscar.
area.
Where are them poles at?
Range Road 30, right across from Olson's there.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't, that was a private line in there?
Yes, it was.
That's what we were
It
told.
may not have been private, or, excuse me, it was a private line. We may have bought the right-of-way, like I said, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, but whatever the case may be, the poles were private at the time that we bought the right-of-way, and they've
Yeah.
remained that way up until there's a
Gotta
renewal,
move 'em, yeah.
or
Who
they
owned-
have to be moved. And
Who
then-
owned the line when we bought the right of way? Was it REA or?
Yeah,
private?
I don't know, Bob.
But it's been bought for quite some time?
I'm not sure on that either. I think it has been, yes.
Yeah, so if it was
Because
bought,
we've been anticipating this job for a while,
yeah,
right?
If it was bought when it was an REA line, then
I
we'd be
didn't know we
responsible.
had any in our
REA?
lines.
Yeah, well,
I know you guys.
at one,
did,
well, you did, it was all REA at one time,
At one
but
time.
I don't know when the transition took place after.
but yeah, neither do I. 'Cause them poles have been in there over 22 years, I think. And it's always been transformed, but we're.
Finds out. Okay, well, what do you want to do? Gonna do something with them, I guess.
I guess I'll make a motion to buy them, I guess.
Move them. Okay. Moved by Oscar to move the poles at 13,751.
That's just 2 poles?
3.
Or 3?
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, against, carried. Okay, culvert purchases.
Okay, we did a price list on our 2023 culvert projects, and we set up an order, and we're looking at a financial implication of approximately $140,000 to proceed with this order. This will be through the RMA.
Okay. That's similar
What'd we
to what
spend
we did.
last year?
I think we were closer to about 180 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were a little bit higher last year. We do have some left over in the yard, so the numbers that we're using here are only based on construction projects, not anticipating any maintenance, because of what we have in the yard should be able to cover our maintenance side of
Sounds
everything.
Okay,
I'll make the motion there, we proceed with the purchase of culverts.
okay, thanks, Bill. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, fencing supply.
We requested pricing for our 2023 fencing supplies, and these are the numbers we came back with, Wainwright Lumber and Cornerstone Co-op.
Close?
Yeah, very close.
Glenn and Murray
I'll
Okay.
make a motion, we buy them from Wainwright Lumber.
here. Wainwright lumber. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed and carried.
When we buy things from Cornerstone, do we get equity?
You're asking the wrong person on that.
Okay. So what would equity be on that amount?
Depends on what the dividend is. Changes every year.
Right. I was just thinking average.
I don't know if it would make up the price difference.
That's not far apart, though.
It is close, yeah.
It may, very well may.
Oh, well,
Motion's made.
motion's
Yeah.
made. Okay, we're not here yet? Okay, we'll go into, that's it for you guys, I guess.
Thank you, gentlemen, and Robin.
Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
What's that? Oh, I might get the pension this year, I'm not sure.
You should have been getting it for a year, now.
Are you?
I'm talking 60, Bob, I'm talking 60.
Beats the alternative, Billy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a
That's true.
privilege, it's a privilege to grow old. What happened here? Luke,
Where's Mike?
he's, gonna be late, he said. I'm not sure what time he's gonna show up. What happened to our? Oh, I see, okay. Okay. Alrighty, what happened to Red? Lost him? Disappeared? No, not sure. Accounts. You have all your accounts. Anybody have any questions or comments?
These are looking good.
Not, we need a motion to pass?
The new Northern
Yep.
Lights levy comes out of general,
Yep,
all right?
yep. It does so.
You got a meeting Friday, huh?
Okay, any other questions or comments? Need a motion to approve them then?
I will.
Thanks, Richard. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay, financial statement is there for your perusal. Motion to approve it as presented by administration.
Yep.
Thanks, Oscar. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Reserves. Where we're at. And now we get to go to the reserve allocation. So, what do you guys, there's a couple million you need to put into the Green Shields portion, 'cause that was not completed, so leaves 5 million to be allocated for other purposes, and if you scroll down one more page, you can see where we've allocated before. So we've divided up over the years, and we put, I'd probably recommend we put some into road surfacing. So that seems to be the one that's gonna take the big hit. We didn't put any in last year, but we didn't have much reserves last year, by the looks of it, a little bit. So. Anyways, what's your thought? What are your thoughts?
What,
Peter?
what didn't we get paid? What, I didn't hear you when you said we didn't get something paid, so.
Oh, that, the Green Shields Lagoon.
Green Shields Lagoon.
That's 2 million needs to go into an account. It was
Okay.
It was allocated, not spent.
And I haven't got it right here in front of me. How much have we got to allocate? 3
fi-
million?
5.
5 million, so where's the rest come from?
Out of unspent money that we didn't spend last year.
I've got a question here on the fire. Why is, we're down 300,000 basically from last year?
So the major reason would be the fire truck in Irma that was purchased.
But we
The
got
Irma reserve.
The year before
the year before
you purchased a truck,
in
is that what you're saying?
22. So the truck that Wainwright's getting this year is in,
Has not been paid for
That
yet.
shouldn't have been
Okay.
that's not our need.
it's all
All accrued?
That's,
Okay.
yeah, the fire is the four.
Is accrued. The fire is accrued all across the whole MD.
That's, yes,
Okay,
they're all
perfect.
accumulated, yeah.
okay.
Okay, so what's your wishes, guys? Like I said, we probably should bump up resurfacing, build it, because we are gonna need that.
What was that, Bob? Couldn't hear you.
Road resurfacing?
Oh, okay.
Can you turn up this mic a bit?
Are we gonna get any for bridges?
Well, we can move it into bridges. We've got
So-
1.75 in there now.
Yeah, there was 500,000 put in bridges last year.
Last year we did.
3 million was put into the road resurfacing for 2021.
But that's only one bridge, if you have to change them out, that 1.7.
Well, we've only got one bridge on the go right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But I'm okay with another 500,000 going in there. But, I mean, I'm okay with that too. But, let's see, just grab some numbers here.
Should we split it between road building and road surfacing?
Well, you can move into any of those columns, but if you take, say,
Split it in half?
so if you go, these are just numbers, guys, don't be, but if you take 2.5 into resurfacing, 0.5 into bridges, what else do we need? We probably should look maybe $1 million into capital purchases, capital equipment.
As far
Because I'm
as,
just thinking the scrapers. I'm thinking the scrapers.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking too. We've got 2 scrapers coming.
What was that, Robin?
as far as shop repairs, are we gonna be forced to maintain or develop more environmentally friendly things that we might cost, or do you think there'll be grant money for that?
I'm not sure, I'm not,
What,
Like, is the
grant money
push-
for which?
To make, we've only got 75,000 in shop repairs, are we gonna be forced to make things a bit more?
well, yeah, I mean, usually what we've done, if it comes to environment, there's been a grant that's come with it, like we did
That's what I wondered.
we did lighting and stuff like that, and there was a grant available, so we haven't really changed that one much. I'm not
Just
saying
leave
we-
it, yeah.
Yeah, so if you went, you're at 2, 3, 4 million. So you got $1 million if you put, so I don't know, you could put another $1 million into roads, I guess, I don't know. If you put another $1 million into roads, that'd be your 5 million. Does that work for people or not, or what do you think?
Yeah, no matter. And then leave the
It's-
$2 million for the,
Lagoon.
Yeah.
And I mean, as time goes on, I mean, this is to hold it, right? And we can move
Right.
it around if something happens. I mean, our reserves, they're not per capital, but we can change things if
They're
there's a
helping,
wreck, right?
yeah.
I mean, we can, just because it's a capital reserve doesn't mean you can't take it out and put it into operating or whatever you need down the road.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
quite
another
legal to do.
5 would,
Okay, so you guys got that? 2 point, you got the numbers? Okay, just need a motion to approve that then.
I'll make a motion, we.
Okay, please as presented?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, apparently our folks are here, so if you want to bring them in, just bring them in. Gotta remember this mic's on, don't say something silly.
Who's the first one?
were you finance this one? Were you finance?
Morning.
Morning.
Everybody knows everybody?
Sorry to be a little late,
Well, that's all right. So anyways, you come to give us an update on your, part of your contract, just give us a overview of how your year went and any suggestions or ideas, I guess, you have.
Last time we were here, 2019?
Yeah.
2019.
Been a while, yeah, COVID kind of
Old time to put it
shut
back
us
on.
down, but anyways, guess, anything else, Colin? Okay, floor's yours.
No, it's been good. I mean, you know, you have your problems to deal with, usual. You know, COVID was, everybody had to do that, and there was no mishap, and nothing unusual or bad happened during that period. And last year was a good year, a busy year, we had a lot of work done. Took care of that. We had a lot of water issues, actually.
Yeah. Last year was.
Yeah. The year before was electrical issues, but last year was water issues. I think that just changes every year. It's everywhere, it's break down. But it was addressed and taken care of and up and running, and very few affected, very few people got on it right away. And so yeah, it's been good. First contract was up, first 3-year contract. We're on the second-year contract, second and third. And it'll be the second year of a 5-year this time instead of 3-year. And the first contract is, second one goes as good as the first one, and it'll be great.
Okay.
We were a lot busier than we thought last year.
Yeah,
Because
I
once
mean-
COVID loosened up, we figured, oh, we're going to slow down. No.
Well, COVID made
Speeded
it
up.
busy for sure.
Yeah, well, people were still nervous, but we're doing our group bookings now earlier because a lot of people are calling and stuff like that, calling myself. So it's like, yeah, okay. It already looks like a good year for group bookings and people are getting back to family again. So we're already on that and preparing for that right away.
And we check the building regularly over the winter. We were always down there last week, checking heat and stuff. A lot of mice this year, but seems like more this year than last year, but we're taking care of them. We had the snow plowed out there in front here, so that people could, we locked the gate this year, the first time we did that. Just in some reason. Good deal of that, I guess, you know, break them and stuff like that. I'm sure you can, so we have even a brief portion out there. Go for that, our location maybe make us a little better than that, but,
Who's got a key?
Ray's got a key,
There's 3
grader
keys.
operator, we've got a key, they plows down through the building for us, so this is access to check the building. If you do that, we're just gonna call, and can't get it in the shop door.
And now Marchand got a key.
And Al has a key because he, his ski, cross-country ski track right there, and they plow around the front of the gate there where they can park and get off of the rail onto the track and they can go through. The skidoos have full access because the snow is up over the rail in places, they just walk in. They have access down to the gate and come up to the lane. Yeah, the only thing you're keeping out is the gate, which is
Good.
good in a way, because once the gate is open, you go there and you open it up. So I went down there and you didn't stop and
Yeah, well,
I've got
once
stuff
they
to
don't
solve.
realize the dips in the road, so they think it's flat. So every time we go out the last couple of years was toe strap, shovel, booster cable. And people used to think, so even for our son, they still park at the gate, take their skidoos, they go ice fishing, so we never had no complaints about that. So that's good.
You got your deck done? deck's
No,
done?
that's happening.
It's not done?
That ran late in the year. The contractor that was awarded the contract, he didn't have time to finish it up at the end of the year. It was gonna be wood, and they changed to concrete. So late in the year, couldn't pour, so that'll be happening early spring, as soon as they can. They're aware of that. Ray's in contact with them, and they'll be on that.
There's not as much snow this year, so we're hoping for faster melt this spring. Because last year we had to use our tractor even just to clear off the water lines, because they're only 2 feet deep, just to get the water running. But this year now, we were out there last week, it looks good, especially for them to get in for the deck before we even open. So fingers crossed, not a whole lot of snow left to come.
We're usually in there around the middle of April. Get the building ready. Clean the building, wax the floors, get ready for that time of season, right? So, yeah, depending on the snow, of course, we keep that in there. We can get in and get around reasonable as soon as we can in April.
So do you anticipate any repairs or anything to the building?
Well, we've talked to administration and thought, well, it's at some point this year, maybe towards the end of the year, that will slow down, get do like a paint job on the building. And so the building is operating fine, everything works great, it just needs a little updates and paint and new lighting and stuff like that. But we've been in contact with everybody, and we'd like to see that go, and they're aware of it. It wouldn't cost a lot to put paint on. The bathroom side has been done. They're still in good shape. They're well used, of course, but they're still in good shape. The old dining hall and the kitchen that has.
So the laundry there, is there a charge for the laundry?
It's $3 a washer, $3 a dryer.
Is that a coin
Operated.
Coin operated?
They're original to the building. Well, some of them are. Some of them are 92s. One used half the season. So they last quite well. I mean, commercial grade machines.
Yeah, they're still working
I
great.
like the residential, they take quite a beat. And I have spare parts and put some pumping in them or something. Because the new ones, they say, we get the light fluid, and so we try to hold the new ones as long as we can.
Is there security down there? You have security?
Unsecured.
Your
We have
security.
cameras.
Oh,
You
in
got
the
cameras?
winter time?
No, no, I'm not, just in the summertime, if something happens.
I'm
Oh,
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we live on site.
We're
We
there all
don't
year
leave.
round. We have 2 trailers there, we stay out here. And if there's problems during the night, I have.
Yeah.
Have you had any? Have you had?
Yeah, we get, I've never called cops.
No.
So it's never been serious
Just
enough where I've got to
music.
call in the just loud music,
Yeah,
Around.
maybe some, going around.
typical.
Yeah, going around, flying around with a light on
Stop.
their dog.
Summertime fun.
Yeah, just nothing.
It's never nothing serious. At this point,
I mean, everybody know we live there. They know where our trailer is, so like, we've had people call, knock on our door, or, like, and they know both of our cell numbers, our cell phone. We're right on site, and people kinda like that, they feel more secure down there because of it. But, and then sometimes when people come in and say, now, we live right there. We can hear you. So if they're kinda young, we're kinda like, ugh. So we kinda say, okay, Wi-Fi's at 11, your neighbors will rest.
at 9 o'clock when the clubhouse closes, we do a drive around every night.
Yeah.
And there's a list of who's ever on the front desk, takes the list of every trailer that's on that lot, that site, every day. So when I do my drive around, I know what trailers and who should be on those sites. If there's 1 trailer or 2 trailers, or if it's a group site with 4 trailers or 6 trailers, so I kind of know who's around. So we do a drive around every day, and if we see anything at that time, we address it. At quiet times at 11, so at 11 o'clock I'll go out and have a listen. It's usually pretty good. I think I maybe get called out last year once.
Once last year.
Once you're home at 2 o'clock in the morning, just most times it's pretty good.
It's pretty relaxed.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've heard good things out of there. I mean, you wouldn't have the people coming if
No, it's a busy
You weren't
place.
doing something right.
Yeah, it's a busy place. On a long weekend, we could have 100 trailers, 800 people.
Canada Day was awesome this last year. We had, but we estimate about 1,200 people come to the lake for all of our activities. And it was a really hot day, so it was down at the beach. And then they go to Clear Lake. So then if you're at Clear Lake, they come out to the Crothers to eat. So Canada Day last year was really busy. And then I had a thunderstorm at night
Yeah.
in the afternoon.
Yeah, you had the heat there. You definitely had the heat.
We had
right?
the heat, which was great. You don't mind the heat.
For as big as the place is and busy it is, it runs pretty smooth.
Yep.
It's pretty good. I mean, we try to keep on it. And when it was handed to us, it was pretty bad this year too. We never had to do much. We just had to maintain it. So it's been pretty good.
We enjoy it.
You're stuck with us for 3 more years, anyway.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Well, I echo what Bill says. I mean, we've heard, no complaints out there. You're doing a good job of running and at least haven't anything up around our table. So obviously, you guys are making it work, and if it works for you, it works for us. So.
Well, we try our best, and the communication between us and our contacts with Ray and Preston here has been great.
Okay.
If we've needed anything, they're on it,
Yep.
gravel or water issue that we can't handle or a power issue that we can, they're on it. And so it's been a good relationship between us and
Yeah.
you, so it works.
Okay. Anything else? From us, you guys? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thanks.
And-
Good luck
See you
out
all
there.
in summer.
And we will, and thanks a lot. Yeah, take care.
Good day, guys.
Yeah.
Take care.
Well, I guess, do you guys want to stop for a coffee? Okay. Guess we'll take a coffee break. So, or you want to shut this off? I guess I can shut it off.
damage to it. They pay for 3 years, but he forgets real easy.
Okay, administration and copies of the back.
We're on?
Oh, I'm not.
Sounded good.
Yeah, I'm good now. Okay, call the meeting back to order. Monthly status report is for your perusal. Anybody have any questions? It looks like most of it's, there's a bit of in progress, but, so,
Yep.
we're good with that. Okay, Bison Run. That is request, did they want to use?
The walk and trail and,
Oh, okay.
and the road affiliated with it, which is Range Road 7-0.
Okay, any,
I missed that, Kelly, what was that?
So the Bison Run, the 2023 Bison Run is put on by the Wainwright Runners, so it's a public event inviting people to participate on the walking trail just south of Wainwright and along Range Road 7-0.
Do you foresee any issues with the road closure?
No, it's only during the time of the event. It's not that long. They have it barricaded and have security on it, so it's not going to be a problem.
I'll make a motion, we approve the run.
okay, thanks, Robin. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay, Camrose Casino. Okay, I wasn't in on the, I wasn't able to make them a call, but I did read, I did go through the slide deck that they had. So just for myself, for clarity, they want to shut the Camrose Casino down and move it to Edmonton, and Edmonton rejected that move. Is that correct?
Yep.
No,
Not
Wow.
entirely.
Not Edmonton. It was the AGLC that rejected it based on the objection by the city of Edmonton. That's what I understood.
It was
Okay, so-
approved.
okay,
The
so-
building request was approved to begin
They
with.
want it to be a rural,
The
for,
mayor.
so that we could go.
Yeah, they want to make it as a rural casino inside the boundaries of Edmonton. Is that correct?
That's correct.
They can put the casino there, but
Yeah.
they can't use the rural part of it.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, I was just want to be clear on that. So Edmonton City gave them a permit for the building, and then ACLG rejected it because it wasn't an urban casino?
No, because of the council. Edmonton City Council doesn't want it.
That's what we.
Oh, after they gave them the building
Well,
permit?
it's understandably so. I can see their issue with it because they don't get the revenue. If it's went to rural, they don't get the revenue.
Oh,
And it would
okay.
cut the city of Edmonton's casino.
So
to-
Edmonton was okay with it, became an urban casino?
That's right.
All right.
So that's correct?
Oh, yeah, if it was urban, it'd be fine.
But they're okay?
Yeah.
They can't have the rural words in it?
Yeah.
The money all stayed to the
Yeah.
urban groups? Okay.
That's what was in the,
It was more of a
Presentation.
PR from what I got out of it and Bill, for the guy, he's gonna make a lot more money that way too. So,
Well, I heard there's another casino opening up close, so he's scared of competition. Is that correct? That's correct?
Wetaskiwin, yeah.
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 Okay, so we want to write a letter saying what? Or do we want to?
Yeah, no, definitely, I think it needs to be wrote, because you see the differences, or the disparity
Yeah.
between urban
Urban and rural, yeah.
and rural in the money.
And
I
I'd
mean,
like- yeah, so-
Camrose Casino was what, $6,100?
Yeah.
They were paying out
The
per
difference.
event, a charity event?
Yeah. But I,
And it was averaged in with St. Albert, Camrose and St. Albert.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it.
but when I looked at the slide deck, though, if they could get this to rural in Edmonton, the rural numbers would go up substantially, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
up to 25,000.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the benefit for our charities.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And could we encourage, or would the town do that through economic development, encourage your small organizations to also write a letter? This affects so many groups.
Oh, it does.
Would the town encourage them, or do they all know about it?
We can work, I could contact the town, we can work in
Yeah.
partnership, do something to get the word out on social media,
Yeah.
post our letter.
Sure.
So.
I think the second thing, Bob, was they brought up the oil issue, that we won't share our oil revenue. So why should they share their casino revenue?
That's got nothing to do with it.
Well, I know, but it was brought up.
Really?
Gaming. and
Assessment.
one's-
Okay, well, I'm good. If somebody wants to make a motion, we read a letter. Thanks, Richard.
Yeah.
I guess you guys can sort the letter out, what you want in it?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor of Richard's motion? Opposed, if any, it's carried. Okay, good. Okay, Northern Lights levy. It went through the accounts this morning. It's what was approved at our last meeting, so it's just information, right?
Just information.
Okay. Census, okay, did we get some more numbers?
They went out,
They went out a little.
200 and something, wasn't
Yeah, that's what I looked to, from 4,276 to 446?
That's correct, yeah.
So, okay. So this information, or do we need a motion to accept it as
No, it's
or
just information. It automatically happens. Census Canada has updated their records based on our request, so it's good news.
Okay, good. Okay, Wainwright Stampede, they're looking for some funds again, so what you got, people's thoughts?
it? I can make a motion, we give them the 5,000.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Seniors Week declaration.
You
Okay,
want to
just
make
need-
that one, Billy?
That'd be your birthday present to all the communities, William.
I should, Bruce. I
It's
can,
only
Bruce.
fair. It's
I
only
can.
fair.
I shall.
But even though you're not the oldest.
No.
But he's in the.
No, I'm not the oldest,
Couple ahead
or
of
the
you.
deafest.
What?
That's a true story.
Yeah. Sympathy. Oh, maybe he is.
All in favor of Billy's motion?
What was his motion?
To declare Seniors Week.
Pardon?
The declaration of
Fifth to the-
Seniors Week from June 5th to the 11th.
We're gonna have a seniors week now?
Well,
You're part of it, Oscar.
all in favor? Opposed, if any, it's carried. Contacts and bulletins for your perusal. There, who's here? Oh, Mr. Snow?
Yeah.
Okay, are they like in the lobby here? Okay.
The van's
Alrighty.
out there.
I will go bring them in.
What are we gonna do for us seniors? Give us a tax break or
Well, I'm the only one here that could celebrate any of you.
sing a woman issue?
You're the only one here, Robin, that could buy.
Nothing.
What?
We got a whole bunch of blank pages. We could have ended this meeting.
That's the answer, right?
And then we will have a chat. Okay, it's Robert Snow, from Vermilion. He runs a medical van, I guess, sort of. And this is Dawn. She's from Transportation Group.
I'm the program director for the transportation.
Okay, so we'll go around the table and everybody can introduce themselves.
How's it going? Bruce Gully. How are you?
Richard Woodell.
I'm Bob.
Morning, Billy.
Robin Layton.
And Bill Wasser.
Okay, we have some staff in the corners, Neil and Tyson and Stephen, and then we have the press in the other corner. So, anyways, thank you for coming seeing us. I know Bruce had met you in another meeting that you
Yes,
actually
Central
share some
911.
space
Yeah,
with.
911.
So he had brought it to our attention, so we appreciate you coming down and visiting with us. Tell us a little bit about your business, what if we can do anything to help you out, or kind of what you're looking for from us, and we'll take it from there.
I'll just do a quick introduction, and then I'm going to actually turn it over to Don. So My name's Rob Snow. I actually am the Executive Director for Focus Society for Support Services. So we have 3 programs in Focus. We have our transportation program, program for disabilities, and a program for family and youth in crisis. So today we're here talking about the transportation because I think that's the one that affects your guys' community as much as it affects ours. Additionally, and how I know Bruce is I'm on the council for the town of Vermilion. So we sit on the board for East Central 911. We get some good discussions. Dawn Riley is our program director for the transportation service. So she's going to give you a little bit of information about our program. I'll just give a little bit of a backstory of how we got to transportation from a disabilities program. So my previous life, I had actually managed the EMS services around the Vermilion, Wainwright, or not Wainwright, sorry, Vermilion, Lloydminster, Elk Point area for around 22 years. When I retired from EMS, one of the things that I took away was our ambulances are constantly being pulled away, doing transfers that aren't emergent, that don't need paramedics, they don't even need medical care, they just need wheels to get from point A to point B. And in regards to the community of Wainwright and the communities around Wainwright, so in the county of Wainwright, we on the ambulance have been to just about every corner of the county doing trips into Edmonton because the EMS services in this area were doing other trips that weren't emergent. And so when I came on board with Focus, I really wanted to pull that in. It helps us gather some funds for our program to help persons with disabilities, but it really attacks an issue that we all have, right? Is how do we keep EMS in our communities? So that's our background of how we got to that. Don will give you a little bit of an update of what we're doing and maybe what we are doing in your guys' neck of the woods as well.
That's actually our transportation service out there. We drove it today because we just dropped somebody off at your SL4 from Vermilion who's moving into that kind of care. So it just happened to, time-wise, work out perfect. So that's one of 2 vehicles we actually have. We have gotten busy enough that we have a Chevy Uplander that we also use more for our local little trips. So we started, our first trip was in July. We really started to take off at the end of August. I think summer just kind of had an impact on that. Appointments weren't quite as plenty. So we have done since July 21st 130 trips. And that's including some days where there were 4 trips. Last Thursday, the big van went to Edmonton, and the Chevy Uplander and I did 3 different trips local. And then we've had days where, like, we've had a couple of weekend trips, some unusual requests. Somebody wanted us to go get them Christmas Day. We did get asked that. Yeah, and so what I have, I do have a few stats for your area. We've done several trips down to Wainwright for Wainwright imaging from the hospital, from personal appointments. Your hospital, unfortunately, the first 4 times they called us, we were booked, which is part of the reason we have a second vehicle now. But we have managed to do 4 trips that Wainwright Hospital Health Center has ordered, and we've taken them to other facilities. And then actually we've had 5 trips for community members. So private gave us a call and booked them. And Dawn, our driver's name is also Dawn. She's actually doing a trip number 6 this Saturday, for taking her from here to Edmonton and back. We've done, we do a lot of inter-facilities. So Vermilion Health Center might phone us when we go to Kamloops for ultrasound. Or Vermilion Health Center when we go to Wainwright Imaging here. We've come down and Dawn has spent a day here and did 2 different individuals just from the hospital Wainwright Imaging, right? And it just let the ambulance be available if there was an emergency. That's kind of the number 1 goal. If a hospital or a facility books a trip, AHS covers it. The patients don't have to, but patients can privately book us too. So we have a couple of different ways to address the fee-for-service part of that. We have an adopt-a-ride program that we initially, last year, because it was our first year, we just really focused in the Vermilion area with it. But our campaign, which will kick in, our yearly campaign will kick in for July as our one-year anniversary. We're gonna come this way with some of our promotion and try to do a couple of events down here to promote the service. Just because we know we have people that from both communities, right? You might have family living here, but they're at the long-term care, so, or vice versa. So, which is what's happened today. The gentleman we moved today, his family's in Vermont, so we know if he has appointments, they may phone us to take him to the other place. So yeah, our campaign is yearly all the time, but we're going to do kind of a yearly push around our anniversary. Is kind of the goal there. So we do survey people who catch trips with us. Dawn, our driver, gives them a survey sometimes, or I send it with their invoice afterwards. And we do have constant conversations with the facilities that because I'm capable of driving the van, and Rob is also capable of driving the van if Dawn's booked. When we pop into the facilities, I ask a few questions and just make sure everybody's happy with the service and the driver, who gets amazing rave reviews on how she is with the seniors and the families and the hospital staff and stuff. So we have gone as far south as Calgary and Olds, Pinoka, Red Deer, as far north as Cold Lake, Bonnyville, St. Paul, Elk Point, Two Hills. Dawn took a gentleman home to Mundare this morning in the other van. And then Edmonton, Breast Cancer Institute, the Royal Alex, like any of the major hospitals. The Alberta Retina Consultants, we've been there 6 times in the last couple of months. Seems to be a popular place. And North Battleford. Dawn actually went to North Battleford last week and is probably going to Saskatoon sometime soon. So we're kind of a little bit of everywhere.
I'm just going to step in
Yeah.
here for a moment. So the one takeaway for our service is we're not a handy van. Okay, there's lots of handy van services that help people get to their care appointments or grocery shopping. Our program is specific to medical appointments, right? So we can either, and we're partnered with Alberta Health Services, so that's why the hospital in Wainwright's reached out to us. We partnered with Alberta Health Services to make sure people from facilities get to appointments in other facilities, but we didn't want to limit it to that. So we open up to the public and say, if you're at home or if you're in a lodge and you need to go to your doctor's appointment or to your eye clinic appointment in the city or pre-op, that's what we're there for, right? So we don't necessarily just pick up people and take them to their residence and take them to the grocery store. There's services that do that, and we don't want to step on those services. We're very specific to healthcare. And it's neat because Don's stats for your community, or the Wainwright community, but it branches out to the whole MD when you think about it, because it's people from all of your communities coming into the hospital here. And it's the ambulance services from this area and from the other areas that are covering all of the communities in the MD. Well, if we've had 4 trips to Edmonton from this hospital, that means 4 times an ambulance been able to stay in the community. And from experience, when I'd come and pick up a patient from Wainwright to the hospital back to Wainwright was minimum about a 6-hour trip for the ambulance, because your wait times, and that's a good day. They can go. So you think by having a medical transportation service, that's kept that ambulance in this community, serving all of your communities for emergencies, what they're meant to be doing, right? And so that's our goal. And we don't want to leave the residents that are calling us and to touch on the adopt-a-ride. So what that is we've set up a program where people can donate money. So now if someone's grandma can't afford our trip because they're on a fixed income, our adopt-a-ride will pay half of it, because we're not cheap. It's the bottom line. with a lot of these handy vans are volunteers, right? So we have somebody available full-time in the daytime hours, right? And so we got to pay them even if there's not a trip. And you'd asked what we're looking for today, and it's just honestly just support. And you know, we value being in this community, and with our talks with AHS, we've given them a map of where we cover and where we think we can cover in a realistic manner and a timely manner. And definitely a large chunk of the MD falls in that. Wainwright definitely falls in that as the town. And so just having that support and awareness and representation in the community is what we're coming here today to talk about. And I appreciate the invite and asking us to come and chat about it. Was there any questions you guys had?
I do. First question, like you mentioned that you're doing some through Alberta Health, through the hospitals, and so you do pick up people at home and take them to. So when you pick up somebody at home, they have to pay that out of their own pocket, but if they go but if the hospital phones, then Alberta Health picks up that fee, right?
If they're in the facility.
Yeah.
Alberta Health
So
Services.
that model's an AHS model.
Yeah.
And that's based off of EMS. So EMS in Alberta, the facility is paid for.
Yeah.
And and our end goal is to have more commitment with the province, but right now we're fee for service with them as well. And it's working well, and I think you guys have all seen in the news that they're coming out with a lot of different ideas.
Yeah.
And we're proud to be in the forefront with them on that. We've been working with them for a year now.
So do you think with the changes the province wants to make, do you think the goal will be that AHS will pick up some of these transfers from home to a facility? Because right now, if you don't come, an ambulance is going to come, and they're going to pay them.
I would just wonder if a senior could be subsidized, or if it was something you could put in your income tax inclusive to your prescriptions or something that perhaps you could.
Actually, in Alberta, there is a seniors benefit for transportation.
Is there?
For medical.
Okay.
The catch is, it has to be over 80 kilometers from your home.
Okay.
It's how many?
80 kilometers. And you have to pay the bill, and then
then
submit the receipt.
Yeah, I wondered.
And it's only $100. But we've had seniors use it.
Yeah.
And we know about it, so we do tell them about it. And we aren't, I need to see your line 150 fixed income people. Are you on a fixed income? Well, I only get this and this. Yes, you're on a fixed income, and that's about as far as we, because they're not dishonest about it by any means. You know, we do have the other, just so you're aware, the other services within the government we've worked with is AISH.
Okay.
They have covered some
Yeah.
trips. And public guardian and trustees. We've done some work with them. And I'm in the process of, we could actually have our first child through Resources for Children with Disabilities. A trip to Edmonton, a family that doesn't have a kid. Kind of working on the works in that one. So it doesn't have to just be seniors. 80% of our clients have been seniors, of course. But we've taken like 19-year-olds from the hospital. So we are branching out that way.
The nice thing with Focus as our organization is we partnered with the province contract-wise in a bunch of different areas. So we have a good team that looks to help people resource money, right? And if they can't afford it, our goal isn't to get rich, we're nonprofit. So we've had people that said, like, I can't afford it, and we'll flip the bill, but then we'll try and work with the government to try and get some money back. Or if they do pay, then we'll guide them down the Alberta Health refunds. Like, it's $100, but for a trip to Edmonton from here is roughly $600. So if somebody used the adopt ride, we knock it down to $300, and then they get $100 back. $200 to the city's pretty.
It just takes a while sometimes to get that money back.
Can you take multiple patients?
So the neat thing about the van that we had it built specifically for our needs.
Okay.
So all of the seats in it, so there's actual proper seats and there's spots for wheelchairs, but all of the seats lock into the floor so that they can be moved around, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle
Yeah.
almost. And so we can take 6 people in regular seats at one time,
Yeah.
or we can remove some of the seats and have 2 wheelchairs or have 3 wheel. Yeah, so it's very, like the client we took today was in one of those larger chairs. I'm not sure if you get, they're almost like recliners, and we actually were able to get him in there and another person.
Okay.
So it is nice, and that's the ideal goal for us working with facilities is, say, the Wainwright Hospital. Who do you have going to Edmonton next week? Because we can drop one, and almost like a transit system at that point, right? And then if they're coming back, pick one up, and drive them back this way.
And we've actually had 3 different trips like that, where we,
Yeah.
just the way the bookings went,
Yeah.
it was.
So can you drop it, like, I'm from the northwest, so some of our people might go to Viking. Can you go to any facility? Like you can go to
Absolutely.
Viking
Yeah,
or
we've been to
Provost
Viking.
or wherever? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
We've been to Viking, to Daysland.
okay.
Obviously, the bigger centers,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
But, yeah, so when we looked at what our map looks like, we put a radius around Vermilion, because that's where we're out of. You know, ideally, we would want to look at expanding, because if we had a system set up in Wainwright, we can have a much greater reach to the south, right?
Right.
Really, we have about, off the top of my head, I want to say about 130 kilometer radius, but it really pies out from Vermilion and from Edmonton, right? So the neat thing with this system and working with AHS is I don't necessarily have to pick that person up in Viking. That person might be in Edmonton, and we've done a trip into Edmonton. AHS says, hey, you're going back empty. We got someone going to Viking,
Yeah.
and now we've dropped them off, right? So we've kind of looked at a pie shape.
Okay.
And we did do a kind of, here's our realistic radius, here's, you know, if we get enough notice, because obviously if we're going to Provost from Vermilion, that's, what, an hour and a half, right? But
184.
if we had that notice 2 weeks ahead of time, that's not bad. So we kind of mapped it out that way. And obviously as we look to, we're not looking to expand to become fleets and fleets. Our goal is to reach this area, right? So this area for us includes Vermilion, Wainwright, Lloydminster, all the way up to Elk Point. And we've only really based that off of my experience on the ambulance, because that was the radius that I seem to go on these transfers. And that's the ones that affected us the most, and it affected your guys' community the most, because when I was out on a transfer as an advanced care paramedic sitting in an eye clinic in Edmonton, well, Wainwright was up sitting in Vermilion waiting for me to get back.
Yeah.
And it messes up our whole EMS emergency system,
Yeah.
right? So that's our goal.
How
Yeah.
do you foresee the changes with the CT scanner opening in Wainwright? Do you feel like the flow
I'm
could
ex-
get quite busy?
I'm excited about that because I think it'll be a lot busier. Right now, and this is based off my experience as a paramedic, everything's in the cameras, right?
Yeah.
And as a paramedic, I was in cameras once to twice a day as an advanced care.
Yeah.
The primary cares, they were there constantly.
Well, and I love St. Mary's. They're wonderful. Like when you get down there, you're only there 15 minutes, but we just drove 2 hours to get here.
Yeah.
Whereas
It's
we're very excited about the CT scan.
And it is going to help the EMS
Yeah.
system as well, right? Because we're not taking all the calls. We don't have a bed. So anyone that needs a bed is still owned by EMS. And having a CT here is going to be great for this community.
Well, and we can't do medication of any kind. So if they need any medical treatment in transport, we don't do any of that. So that's what you have to do. We don't have a choice. So it's just, I mean, we are taking, I think we figured it out, it was about 15%, I think, is.
So
yeah.
statistically,
Yeah.
EMS was doing, at the time we started, about 30% of their transfers were what they called NAT transfers, which is non-ambulance transfers. They don't need an ambulance, they just need a ride. And so we're hoping to capture up to 15% of that 30, right?
Yeah.
Is our goal. You know, if we do or not, that's a lofty goal. Realistically, maybe we're gonna get 5%, but still, that's 5% of the time
Yeah,
EMS is staying.
yeah,
in
okay,
Cleveland.
And what kind of licensing does your staff need for this type of thing?
A Class 4 driver's license, and so for training, first aid CPR, and then we have some professional driver courses that we put them through some online and local training. But no, so entry level for EMS with the EMR, we're not required to do that. So in an event of an emergency, if Dawn was taking me to the city and I had a heart attack halfway there, she would call 911. And 911 would work with her to get an ambulance. She might drive until the ambulance shows up, but that would be a conversation with 911. So down the road, we might look at EMRs, but for the short term and starting off, it just made sense for us to have first aid CPR.
Okay. Anybody else? Logan?
No, I had quite a list, but eventually you come through with the answers that I need. I was concerned about you transferring patients from our hospital here in Wainwright to Edmonton. You said you did 4 transfers, and I wondered what kind of qualifications you had, and as well, what condition were the people in to get transferred. But you've answered that.
So, and just to recap, so anyone that has a medical need or we won't transfer. So these are people that can either be walked or wheeled into our vehicle, and they can take their own medications. So if they're en route, if they're diabetic and they need medications, they'll take their own. We're not trying to replace EMS, so we're just trying to capture those ones that really didn't need an ambulance, but they need a ride there.
And I haven't done the statistics, but probably 90% of our trips, they're in a wheelchair, and they need a vehicle they can't get out of a wheelchair, so they need a vehicle that can equip with that. So that's kind of the number one, I think, criteria that we get called for is we don't have to take them out of the chair, right? We can strap the chairs in, they can stay in it and stay comfortable, and
What kind of insurance have you got?
We have, so for the one vehicle, it's $2 million per seat liability. And then we have so we have an insurance broker with Focus. So we sat down with them and said, what type of insurance do we need to have a proper transportation service? And we went through all of the regulations that Alberta Traffic Act has. And they set us up, so we have $2 million per seat. And then essentially it's almost the same as a taxi for insurance. It's just personnel transportation, or not personnel, sorry, personal transportation insurance. I believe what it's
Well, I was surprised at AHS, if they contact you, does that make them liable? That's why I wondered, I'm surprised you didn't have to carry $5 million worth of insurance.
It's 2 a seat, that's more.
Yeah, but
Well, you don't know if they're passengers. If they got one passenger, it's not $5 million.
So if and when, and I have to leave it at if and when we get to a contract with them, that they have said that's their request, but as it's a fee for service, the liability all falls on us right now is what they've said to me. But if we get to the point of contract with them, then they said they would probably request $5 million.
Okay.
But other than that, there's not a lot of special, because we're not doing medical treatments, so all that side of the liabilities out of it. We have to have driver's liabilities and obviously accident. But there's no medical side to it. And our staff, we have one driver right now, and we're working on a couple casuals, and like Dawn said, she's also driving. It's made very clear in our hiring process and in our auditing and evaluations that we are not a medical service. We call it medical transportation because we're going to a medical facility, but we don't provide medical treatment under any circumstance. And for me, it's really important. I was an advanced care paramedic for 22 years. I still believe in that profession. I had to step away because we're getting way too long, but I don't want to replace that profession. They're crucial to our communities. We just want to support them by not overburdening them with calls that don't need an ambulance. Right?
Yeah.
So we don't do any medical. 911 won't call us and say, "Can you go pick this person up?" It's just facility to facility or home to facility.
Yeah, and I know that we've had this discussion around this table for a long time. How do we get a service like that?
Yeah.
So it's timely that, you know, that you're doing this, and I think it'd be well received. I mean, we all know what an ambulance ride and a tying up, so.
And actually, Glenda from the hospital called last week to make sure she had all the details right on how we work for their list of transportation services that they were giving to their unit. Yeah, she just happened to call last week about that. And I know in Vermilion, in the acute care, we're right about the phone.
Yeah.
Right, like our number and name and stuff. And so I think that was kind of what Glenda was doing, was to give the staff of the hospital, here's the non-ambulatory ambulance. And so she wanted to make sure she had our info right. So.
Yeah.
I anticipate now that we've actually done 2 trips here in the last week. 3, sorry. We're going to start getting more from Wainwright because now the van's a little more familiar.
Yeah.
People have seen us. And one of your residents in your SL4 here was using us before he moved down there. So I know his wife's been singing their praises. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else got any more questions or comments?
I'm trying to think, could you haul a patient for dialysis in Vegreville and things like that? Would that be like they're having a treatment, you'd have to stay with them, right? You don't want to do that kind of thing.
We actually do have a process where we can stay with the patients. And so we charge a fee per hour, so
Right.
and it's $30 an hour, which is just to cover the wages and insurances. But we have actually stayed with patients. Now, if we had a vehicle full, we probably wouldn't be able to, right? But if it was, you know, we have one patient on this trip, or we call them clients, just so we don't differentiate, or so we don't start treating them. But if we have one client and they were going to Vegreville on dialysis and we need someone to stay with them, yeah, we absolutely stay with them.
That's an awesome.
It's we're trying to meet needs, right? And so
And there is a need. It's a huge need.
There really is. There really is. And that's why we started the second vehicle. It's kind of a fill-in vehicle, but for those times where our driver is waiting someone. And we actually, like Donna alluded to, we came up with that because of the Wainwright Hospital. We were on a trip and we were waiting with them. Our driver was waiting with them, I should say. And we had to turn down 2 trips from here. So being that we have a disabilities program, we actually have a few vans that have wheelchair accessible with the ramps. So we just went and reinsured one under a transportation insurance.
And it's like the little van, we call it the little van. We use it a lot of the little local type trips. So if Dawn has a trip down here and for some reason Wainwright imaging was going to be an hour, which has never happened, she might not have to stay in the clinic, but she wouldn't leave town. She's just going to stay and wait. In Vermilion, we might go back to the office or something, you know, if they're just some of those ways. But Dawn has actually sat with people in the waiting room until they've gotten into the procedure and then made sure she was there when they came out, make sure the hospital staff had numbers to phone, you know, when they were ready. And that's actually been one of the rave reviews we've gotten from the facilities are, we love that your driver stays and doesn't wander too far and is very accessible, very reachable. So we're very picky about who we hire to work with them. She's amazing and great with seniors, especially seniors who are scared or don't know what's going on and why is my daughter not taking me, things like that. She's been pretty awesome that way, yeah.
And they get a bunch of training. Like we offer conflict resolution training, just to help mitigate some challenges that might come up, right?
Yeah, she's had a couple of clients that were like, you know, partway through the trip on the highway, kind of yelling or whatever. Just a little training on, remember, you're not the reason they're upset. You're the guy there.
Even the RCMP have mentioned perhaps, you know, getting folks to Ponoka or whatever, so you can see where they need a bit of training.
Yeah, absolutely, right. So Ponoka trips, we definitely, have we had one?
Yes, we had a lady who.
But we work with the hospital and educating the hospital as well, just on what we can take, right? So if there's a risk that if they have any medical psychosis, and they might need treatment on the way, then we won't take them. Right? If they're stable and there's some, yeah, I need to go there, and then the hospital says you're not going to need any treatments, then definitely we take them. So you can just leave them.
I know, I'm just separating them.
We'll leave you guys some
Okay.
brochures and
Yeah.
business cards. If
Yeah,
you have
awesome.
any
Yeah, and if you
questions-
can leave, we can stick them, we can share them with our public too. Through
Absolutely.
the door if you want
Yeah.
to leave us a bunch. And that, no, it sounds great. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome. So we definitely will let people know.
Yeah.
We got some different methods and to get information out to our ratepayers. So once we get your information, so we got to make sure it's correct. We can post it that the service is available in our area, and hopefully that'll help things a lot.
Awesome. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free
Yeah,
to email
my
Don or
card's here.
myself.
In your expansion, then, are you wanting a vehicle here and a place to store it, that kind of thing? Is
That would be the ideal
in the-
goal.
that's your goal in the-
That's the down the road goal
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
because I think, like, right now, serving the northern part of your MD and the town of Wainwright, Vermilion makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not far. But if we wanted to kind of expand that reach, we would have to have a vehicle down here. And it's something that I think is doable. It's not doable this year.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have some ideas. And by all means, if you guys have ideas or contacts that you think, hey, these folks would work great with Focus, we would be really interested
There's
in
a
that.
fleet of retired EMTs that sit at Tim Hortons every morning.
Yeah.
If you need
What's the
networking.
van worth?
110,000 is, and that was with the modifications. So we bought it modified from a company out of Manitoba.
Manitoba seems to be the place where you get emergency type vehicles.
Move Mobility
Mobility,
was
yeah.
the company, and they build them specifically for these needs. Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
if you have retired EMS personnel that want,
I would like a casual driver base, so feel free to send them my way.
do you want us to leave these here or bring them
Yeah,
up?
just send them. We can
Take
grab
them
them on
out?
the way out.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
just
can
send them.
take
Just give it to Tara in front, and then we can.
And the other
make sure.
thing that we kind of forgot to mention was, if somebody needs a family member to ride with, they can do that and there's no charge.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like
Perfect.
today, the young man we brought
Tomorrow
down.
when you come to my house and pick me up and take me to the city, what's that? What, is that an hourly rate to come and get me and take me
$600
there, or
bucks.
is it a
It's $1.50 a kilometer is what we charge, but locally, so if somebody, so that would be going to the city. If somebody called and it was a local trip, then we have flat rates as well. So the $1.50 a kilometer covers obviously our fuel, our full-time employee, and our insurances. But if so if you called and you're like, I'm on a fixed income, I can't afford the
Yeah.
roughly $600, that's where we tap into that adopt a ride
Yeah.
donation
So
system.
then you're 30 an hour to sit at the hospital with them?
Yeah,
After the first hour, and that's prorated too.
yeah, the
Yeah.
first hour. So it seems very expensive when you compare it to a handyman, because a lot of them are volunteer. But when you look at the average ambulance rate going to the city,
Yeah.
it's quite a bit cheaper. But we do try to accommodate people that can't afford it through our Adopt a Ride donation program, which is very successful. We've used it extensively so far.
Well, if you want to go get him more than Tanoka, I'll pay.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you
Yeah,
guys very
thanks
much
for
for having
coming in,
us.
yeah.
Thank
You guys
you.
have a great
Yeah,
day.
great.
Good presentation.
Yeah, good job.
So do you think you'll go?
Thank you very much for having us. Yeah. You have a great day.
I thought it was pretty.
What is that? Is that all your notes? Yeah, look, I got it all jammed in.
Yeah.
Oh, dress stinking or something, it costs a dump my way, you never go. So you didn't have to issue out.
No, I got
tell them
one.
what you think.
Got the guy with the handcuffs.
Billy, don't look guilty. This is for,
Okay, we've all had the pleasure of meeting Michael. So you want to give us some stats? Kelly had sent the stats, resent them out again, so everybody is.
Sent out, because I brought copies as well. if
Okay.
anybody
Yeah, if you want to pass them around, it might be
Sure,
easier
yeah.
than flipping back and forth to the computer.
I don't know how to do that, so.
I don't care.
So what I brought as well today for Region Council is also copies of the town stats.
Oh, okay.
Just because everybody here is often in town and it's nice
Yeah.
to know what's going on as well. So there's, just take one of each. And
So you settling in? Things are starting to make sense, and got everybody on the same wavelength here? Or?
Absolutely, yeah.
Good, good.
It's, things are running really smoothly. Members are, they're out there.
Perfect. Good. That's excellent.
Get off your fat ass and walk around.
Oh, that went well.
If you just said please, I would have.
Well, it's good.
Oh, I
to see
tried to
that
take
big
the
girl
girl.
was, too, so helps out a lot.
You're welcome, sir.
I went through the. It was on the computer. Town one for
Yeah, focus blinder. How do you do?
Hi, Kelly.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, if you want to start through it, Michael, and we'll follow you along. And
Yeah,
if
for sure. We'll
anybody-
just open up
anybody has
with, we'll
questions.
start with the rural statistics. So it'll be the front page.
Yep.
This is Q3 stats. So that includes the month of October through the end of December of each fiscal year. And it'll go back to 2018, so the last 5 years. It'll capture how many statistics are in each crime category for that particular reporting period. And then it'll give you a percentage change at the end. When I look through this and I analyze it and look at what our stats are on the rural side, there's nothing that's overly concerning except for the one part of property crime.
what?
So if you look onto page 2 for property crime, rural property crime, total property crime for 2022 reported statistics in that period is 55, if you're looking where I'm looking. So 55 reports within 3 months of some type of rural property crime, whether that's a theft, a mischief, anything to do with rural property crime.
Oh yeah. Okay.
How many more do you think aren't getting reported?
I think there's a large number that don't get reported.
Minor theft and that.
Yep. So one thing that is increasing this statistic here is when we get reports from oil field thefts or oil field batteries where there's copper wire taken, and they might get 2 or 3 or 4 different sites in one crime spree, but that'll be 3 or 4 different files that we create. That's not just one incident. Each individual land location is its own file created on our end. As far as persons crimes, so that's back to top of the first page. Our number's sitting at 7. Very manageable. Nothing that brings us any concern in that area. If you look at page 2, so it's going to look like this here. I included that as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That'll just kind of break it down for actual percentages into property crime versus persons crime versus other criminal code. And if you're wondering what other criminal code, what our database pulls into other criminal code, I actually brought something here that has those particular offenses listed, and I'll leave that with you to look at. if you're just curious at that.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
So when I look at the rural side of stats, percentage change year over year, property crime, that's where our increase is there. You see that 90%. And I don't think that there's anybody here that's surprised. That's not something that is unknown to us. We know that rural property crime is an issue, not just here in the MD of Wainwright, but all over Alberta. Any of the other statistics there for the rural side, generally trending in the downward direction.
So the fraud part, is that cyber and that, or?
That's where a lot of our, anything that's financial now related is anything to do with those computers. A lot of computer crime comes in now.
So the rural property crime, just because I don't know, is that, yeah, you're talking about 90%, and so obviously that's a problem. Then how much time do you spend out in the rural area? You know, where you?
So as
That's
far
what
as
I'm
exact
wondering.
times, I can't give you how many percentage of hours our members are spending in the rural area. Generally speaking, members are responding to calls in the rural area, and the areas that get attention as far as patrols are your main highways.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I get that, and I just wondered if you're doing any patrols other than a
Proactive
call.
patrols, other than calls?
You know, just to reinforce your presence in the rural area.
Yep.
Is what I'm looking at.
More so in the evening shifts and night shifts. During the day shifts, you'll see most of our members are tied up dealing with the town tends to be a lot busier during the day for us.
You might have to change your strategy, because there are people listening right now, so we might have to we might have to go in the daytime.
Yeah.
Just in case, yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that we have to address, is that just getting members out into visible areas where they're seen in those rural communities.
And you, another thing you pointed out there, and I just wondered why you pointed out the rural crime, and some people aren't reporting the property theft, and why is that? Is it not amount, or is there an amount that you should report, or?
There's no specific amount for reporting. I think, and it's just a personal opinion, I think a reason why there's some rural crime that's not reported is people probably feel that it's minor in nature. Sometimes they don't want to disturb us. We've heard that before, but we don't want to bother you with, they just broke into my garage and stole my tool set. We don't want to bother you with that. But then at the end of the day, our resources, our human resources that we're allotted, are directly tied to the amount of calls for service that we get. So if our calls for service are down, then the RCMP is going to go, well, you don't need all these resources to respond to those calls for service because you don't have them, you don't have the statistics there to support your resources. So it's important for people to report this.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the statistics on the rural side? And then
that's
if you
good.
want to have a look at the town
Yeah,
side,
sure.
I brought those as well.
That's good. So just a quick analysis of going through it all. How are we, do you see things comparing between the town and the MD? We got more property theft or crime than they do, or?
Well, if we look at it here, we can compare them right side by side. So total property crime on the town side during Q3 reporting period, 74 occurrences. On the rural side, 55 occurrences.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So the theft over 5,000, would that be mostly vehicles?
Theft over 5,000 is going to be mostly copper wire theft from oil field sites.
That would be over 5,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the total damage that's caused.
Oh, I see.
Right. Quite a bit more.
Because of the copper, you need a ton or two of copper.
And then it's just the downtime,
Oh, yeah. I see.
the equipment, the repairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
How's your complement of officers in here now? Are you right up to?
Yes, I was just actually going to address that issue right
Okay.
now. Currently, we are at full strength. We're looking at one retirement coming up at the end of May this year. One of the members is going to ride off into the sunset and enjoy retirement. And then I have another member that's going to be going on parental leave, which will leave us down 2 positions throughout the summer. But looking at the schedule and planning ahead, we're able to fill gaps and ensure that we have adequate coverage, both on the municipal side and on the rural side.
Well, that's good. So anybody else have any more questions or comments?
Do you have any history or knowledge or bad things to say about working with a rural bylaw officer? Do you have any history in that? Do you have any opinions in that? Do they help you? Do they hinder you?
So rural bylaw versus rural peace officer. 'Cause there's a-
Bylaw specifically.
Bylaw specific?
The gentleman I've spoke to does drive a truck with lights. There's a bit. Do you have any yay or nay and ideas in that regard? Would they help you? Would they hinder you? Would they?
Any assistance is always going to be helpful to the RCMP.
Okay.
I know personally a lot of rural municipalities, MDs, counties employ peace officers. And there's different levels of peace officers, right from a bylaw officer that has no provincial authority, they can just deal with any municipal or village bylaws, right up to a CPO, which has peace officer status within the province of Alberta under the Police Act. So then they can acquire provincial statute authority to enforce any traffic laws, parking laws, anything like that in the rural and MD areas. So, believe it or not, prior to joining the RCMP, that's what I used to do. I started, it was one of my stepping stones, was I worked for a rural county.
As a peace officer, not a bylaw.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody, anything else? Well, thanks for coming in and going through this with us. And,
No problem at all.
It greatly appreciated, and once again, thanks for what's going on out there. I know it's a tough job some days, but we do appreciate everything that you do for us.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Richard. Can you talk to Richard?
Hmm? She being nasty?
That's the way she's been nasty. Okay. Can you take her to the office and talk to her?
I will. What's that? What's that? Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That's why he's not here.
Yeah. What's that?
I was wondering.
Well, yeah, go
But he
ahead.
said Bill would pay him, he'd pay Bill
Well, you're pointing the wrong guy.
Yeah, yeah. We take a break, but we've been fairly busy this morning, so. Yeah, we had one earlier.
Oh, God,
Okay.
this year already.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Every third Tuesday, coffee time. Make it work. We usually break around 10.
You
Yeah.
gotta go help Rob.
So-
Yeah, I see you going
Yeah,
there.
that's where actually you get the best information. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Alex. Good, how you doing, sir?
Chair?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like sometimes, especially now, like March, April.
Hey, sir, how are you doing?
Oh, I just got a couple on the bathroom break, so we'll just wait till they get back.
Oh, then too much comes in. If we ran out of money before we passed the budget. On every panel. No copper, aluminum wire only.
Well, it's dark when they're coming in.
I got it. Thank you, kind sir. Hey, I need, is this new lounge chairs we're getting?
Okay, Alex has asked for some time with the foundation. Maybe, do you know everybody around the table, Alex?
Yep.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. I'll just give your presentation and we'll see where we go from there.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for allowing me a few minutes of your time with you today. As Bob mentioned, I'm Alex Mill. I'm a board member with the Health Foundation. Today I want to talk to you about our upcoming gala and the goal that we're trying to achieve. 2023 gala, title Under the Sea. The focus for this year will be purchasing long-term care beds for the Glory Hospital. Majority of the current beds in long-term care are in excess of 30 years old. These beds are basically obsolete and wore out. In the handout in front of you is a picture and features of the bed that we are raising funds for to try and purchase. Our goal is to purchase as many beds as we possibly can with this particular gala. This bed is going to address a number of issues that the residents and staff are currently dealing with. First and foremost, the residents are dealing with bed pressure, injuries, or sores. One of the features is that it has an automatic mattress firmness adjustment, which will reduce bed sores associated with residents laying in bed over a long period of time. It will also assist the staff to change body positions easily to further reduce further ulcers. It'll be safer for the patients, for the staff to assist with position changes, as bed has assist positions built in to allow for up to one or two persons transfers. Second, if a resident is at risk for falls, this bed will automatically set a bed exit alarm. The bed sensors will help prevent falls by sending an alert if the bed is left in an unsafe position. These beds can be set for near floor level, thus if a resident happens to get out of bed and fall, less chance of getting hurt. Third, the mechanics of the bed allow for multiple positioning for the following items. One, able to safely feed patients in bed, as the bed positioning will allow for better upper body position, eliminating or greatly reducing the risk of choking. Two, the flexibility of the rails will reduce the possibility of falls. Three, the overall ability to change bed positioning will assist the staff in working with residents, doing personal care, resident positioning, resident transfers to stretchers, ease of movement of the bed itself, locking certain controls, for resident safety, etc. Fourth, body and environmental monitoring. Real-time incontinence detection, continuous heart and breathing rates, and various alarms, including the bed exit alarm. These are a few of the features that the residents will benefit from. But there's another feature that will assist in staff retention, reduction of staff burnout, staff injury, and recruitment. You know, recently you've heard on the news and so forth, we've been hearing about proposed money being allotted for recruitment of healthcare staff, which is great. But what about the problems we're having with the current staff burnout and staff leaving, staff injuries? This proposed bed will address a number of issues, making it easier for staff to look after our loved ones and at the same time enhance patient care. The number of associated hours allocated to each resident by HS is minimum, to say the least, if you can find the staff. This bed with its mechanical features and alarms will allow for better monitoring, easier access for staff to do their jobs, and the winner is the resident. So let me switch gears for a second, and let me become a mind reader. You're probably thinking, why isn't the government buying these beds? But that's their purpose. That's one of their mandates. I can't agree with you more. But the truth of the matter, they're not. At our last foundation meeting, we had the area manager present, and she was telling us that each hospital has to send their top 10 items of need to her. And she, in turn, will find 10 of the top 10 items in her whole area and then send it out. So if our site gets 1 or 2 items, we're extremely lucky. So why am I here in front of you today? Old Vice President Hubert Humphrey once said, "The moral test of government is how the government treats those who are in the dawn of life. The children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, and the handicapped." Therefore, our federal and provincial governments are failing to purchase some of our basic needs. So we're coming to you asking for your assistance with our 2023 gala goal of purchasing long-term care beds. We're not asking to purchase all the beds, but we're asking for assistance purchasing a or a few of these beds. Remember the old starfish fable? You cannot save all the starfish left on the sand. As you pick up that one starfish and throw it back in the water, you can say, but I made a difference to that one. And in this case, it's an auxiliary resident who helped create this community. These beds are worth $7,500 a piece. They're not cheap. And with every bed donated, the gala committee will give you a table of 8 at our gala as a thank you from us and from the auxiliary residents. Any questions?
So, $7,500 a bed. How many beds do you need?
Well,
I mean, how many beds need to be replaced?
Well, about 20-some years ago, Bob Grayson led a group with the foundation. They bought all those auxiliary beds. So all the beds are up for.
Yeah. So how many are we talking?
We're probably over 50.
50 beds?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's lots of money. I mean, if we can get things started, that's what we're after.
Yeah, it's got to start.
It's got to start somewhere. And it's not fair to a council to be stuck with something by itself. It would be the community and councils, whatever we can do to help helps.
Yeah. So I mean, $375,000 is what it costs to replace all the beds.
If we were going to go full
But yeah. So I guess I mean, I'll open up people, what do they think? I mean, we'll have a discussion afterwards, but I guess my concern is 8 months ago, the foundation came and asked for help for a tower. And, you know, we were told, you know, this was kind of one-off, wasn't come back. 8 months ago, you're here again asking for more help. And I just wonder, you know, how much help are we expected to give? I mean, we put a lot of money into healthcare. I mean, we got our doctors' recruitment. I mean, we're involved in many things. So I guess my perspective is, if municipalities are going to keep giving, AHS is going to give less.
Well, the possibility is always there, but I guess in this particular case, we're looking at the auxiliary residents. They're the follow to what we don't do. And like, for example, the other thing too is that at the last foundation meeting, Wainwright's going to be becoming a hub.
Yeah.
And therefore with the hub, there's more and more needs. We should get more stuff from them as well, but it depends how far we want to go with it and what we want to serve the community. It depends on what level of service do you want our residents to have. Do we want to be cream of the crop, the average crop, or below the crop? Basic bottom line it boils down to. And right now with the residents and so forth, I'm currently involved helping a family member with going through, you know, the last steps, and it's just tough.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the proper bed, proper mechanics, I have a daughter-in-law who works in long-term care, and quite often she's homesick with the sore back. It's just lifting, you know, like dead weight. And this is where this kind of bed comes in handy. It moves all over the place, and it just helps. It doesn't really, I'm not really answering your question, by the way. I have no answer for it. I mean, if I could be a pretty smart genie.
Yeah. Okay, my only other comment is two things. I think coming to us now is premature. I mean, we don't know how much money you're going to raise for your gala. And I, for one, am not in favor of using taxpayers' money to buy tables. I mean, if we want to buy a table, we'll buy a table, or somebody can buy a table. But I mean, I know it's the hook, right? You know, we'll give you a table, but I mean, that with your table, $800, $900. $900. So I mean, you're asking for $7,500, but we'll give you $900 back if you buy. And I mean personally, I mean, I don't know what the rest of the guys think, but I'm not a fan of using taxpayers' money this way. And I'm not saying that we won't. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just saying I'd much rather see what the gala brings in before we commit to spending any money. And also, I mean, being that you've been here twice within a year, you know, it might not hurt to see a financial statement from the foundation, because you're asking for public funds. We should have knowledge of what kind of funds you guys have.
The financial statement is available at any moment.
Okay,
at any point in
that's
time.
good. That's good to know.
Public. That's
yeah.
The difference we're doing this go around here is that we're not coming up saying we're going to buy 50 beds. We're not saying we're buying 20 beds. We're saying we're going to buy as we can.
Yeah.
The money is not there, then you don't buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's you know, so we're coming in from a little different angle. If you can look at it from that perspective. But it's whatever council decides.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just my comments. And the rest are open to their comments. And like I say, after we'll have a discussion and see what. But that's just my opinion. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying that I'm not sure if the timing's right to make that decision.
If Wainwright's set to be a hub of sorts, are we going to get an administrator? And maybe you can't answer that, because that's a $200,000 savings to AHS in one position that we might not get replaced.
I know from like the last session, according to the lady, it's a top priority for them to be hiring an administrator for this facility. They have interviewed, I'm just repeating what she said, I don't know the latest, that was the last meeting. They had interviewed 3 individuals, but none of them qualified for what they were looking for. They're looking for an individual who is community-minded, is able to go out and speak in the community and do things and get this place rolling in their direction that they want.
it hasn't been, properly advertised what a hub that we really are, as far as I'm concerned. I think that was a lacking situation for what
Yeah,
we,
I don't
for what we
know.
have to offer, or what we're soon to offer, right?
I can't answer
But that's a
that.
huge savings to AHS not paying an administrator, when we heard rumors there was gonna be, you know, someone from another facility looking after us.
Well, right now, that's what they normally do. My past is hospital administration,
Yeah.
over 37 years. When a position becomes vacant, they always put an intern in, so they locate one. There's nothing worse than hiring the wrong one. You
Yeah.
hire the wrong guy, or gal, or it, in today's world, you don't know, you know, to try and get rid of them is something else. I would rather them spend more time looking, getting the right person, and then instead of fighting for months on end to get them out. So, but otherwise, I don't know where they're at with it. I know they've said, it's been advertised and so forth, that's all.
Okay, anybody else got anything? Okay, thanks, Alex.
Good, thank you.
And
Yeah.
you have a great day.
Yeah, super, thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, we'll see you. But take your coat.
It's cold out there.
It's rash. Okay, so do you want to take any action now, or what do you guys want to do?
I guess I'll speak to a bit of this, and you may think that I'm responsible, but I will let you know that I am not part of the Gala committee. And Alex asked me if he should come, and I think he's going to make a proposal to the town and the villages as well. So just thought I'd let you well aware of that.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot, Mr. Chairman.
No, and that's
But-
all right, and I'm going to disagree with your comments. Then I do believe that this equipment, these beds, are for rural people as well in our healthcare facility.
Oh,
So
I'm not debating the fact, Bill, they're in need. I'm just debating the fact why is it the responsibility of the municipality to keep having to come up with money when you guys are having a gala, you've got funds in the bank. I mean, you've got the funds.
I will speak to those funds, Bobs, and you were on that CT scanner committee as well, and you know those funds are tied for 5 years.
But they're not all tied up.
Pretty much. We have pretty well spent. We have been spending a lot of money on the hospital as of late, and they're pretty well, we haven't got a lot of money left.
How did the building study go? Do we have any idea what that's gonna cost to get it where it needs to be, or does that include us, or?
Well, we
No,
don't.
I think that's coming up in March the 2nd,
Sometime.
I believe.
Yeah.
We get to hear the results of that. But
Yeah.
I guess I'll speak to that, and you say we want 50 beds. You've seen the figure was 375,000. We know we're not going to raise that
Oh, I know.
at Tagala, so I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean,
I think you got to think of the welfare of these people. I mean, we spend a lot of money here on a lot of items that maybe aren't, that I feel are not quite as important as this is. So
Yeah.
that's what I say.
yeah, it's fine.
But you know, like your father-in-law, I mean, how many years ago was that? And now it becomes a problem after 30 years? You know, why?
I mean, he
weren't you
bought the beds.
No, but
Bruce.
why weren't you upgrading as you went?
It's nothing to do with us, it's AHS, and that's what Alex spoke to. I mean,
No, but I
AHS,
mean-
they're not doing it. I mean,
This
you
isn't
want
a
them to have a
sudden
bed and you
need.
don't. What's that?
It's not a sudden need. This need has been going on for years. You know, so I don't understand why now, like Bob said, within 8 months,
I think
just
they
jump
had,
to the
I
hot.
was thinking on that, Bruce, I think they had that, a couple of people followed, they had breaker hits and stuff. These beds are old and they don't set up properly. My dad was in one, my mom, Debbie's mom and dad were in one.
So was mine.
So it's not, if Alberta Health doesn't want to buy it, these guys are going out of the way to try and raise some money for it, and I listened to them. he's right. If you want, it's a sure sign of leadership when you take care of your young and your old. You know, as far as I'm concerned, that comment you made about that, and whoever it was again, was true. You're gonna be a leader. You should be able to lead in these situations and help them through it, not hinder them by blocking. I don't care if they have any galley. You're not asking us to support and buy 50 beds. I believe at the first of this thing, he said 1 or 2 beds, which is $15,000. We just spent this morning $5,000 on rodeo. We thought nothing of it. It wasn't even a question.
Because we just gave them 44,000 though, not that long ago, because was that money the gala fell short of its fundraiser?
Well, you never give us
No,
44,000.
16.
The 40, oh, it was
16.
split, or whatever.
16 for us, 16 for the
16.
town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And that was due to a shortfall. I
We
mean,
just buy golf carts, for instance. We really
That's,
did.
yeah, so be it though. I mean, these are for our operations, Oscar, but whatever,
Yeah,
you,
well, it's still money we're putting out there for one person to ride around on.
To spend a whole bunch of money on power poles.
Yeah, exactly.
so,
They can stay where they are.
so.
you know.
But it's whatever you guys want. I mean, I still think it's premature, I mean,
I'm not saying there's not a need for it.
yeah.
But I just, you know, like, it seems like it's never ending.
No, I,
AHS.
yeah,
It-
you just keep
yeah.
cleaning up
And
their
I
messes.
agree, and I
Yeah.
agree with that. It's not gonna be.
it's never going to end.
Yeah, I agree with that, Bill. It's not gonna end.
You know, like the snow that was here earlier, I mean, he's gonna save them millions in the end, right? If
Yeah.
if he's charging 600 and they're charging 1,800, it's pretty simple math,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, so.
It's whether you want these things in our community or not.
Well, no, that's not, I don't think that's a fair comment. I
You
think
don't, Bob?
we're gonna get them, Bill. We just not maybe get them all at once, or as many as the foundation, or as many as somebody wants at one time.
No,
I mean, the difference
agree with
between,
that.
between the MD buying 1 or 2 is not gonna stop the foundation from buying 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever you can buy. You're gonna, the beds will change, get there. I mean, I certainly understand. The more you buy, the better, whatever it is. But you are going to buy some beds out of this gala funding, right?
Yeah.
So you are slowly making that difference. So is to say that, I mean, certainly I understand where you're coming from. I mean, and I understand where Oscar's coming from too. But I just don't know that if it's our responsibility. And I said I'd like to see how much funding you get
Whose
from the.
responsibility is it, Bob?
Well,
to look after the old.
AHS.
It's AHS.
And tell me, are they doing
And
it?
that's our tax dollars that they have.
You know, they paid taxes here for years, and to have somebody say that it's our tax dollars. They were the backbone of the tax department here at one time. Now they're laying in the hospital, and they're asking for a little bit back. I'm an old person, like I like helping old people and young kids, so they're not gonna get me to argue against these beds or anything else that they need.
I guess I've stated my position in this and how I feel, and I think personally the MD should support this and show their support that we're willing to look after them when AHS won't. I'm not saying AHS, I mean, I know they're swamped, but we do have revenue, extra revenue. We were looking for a place to put it this morning. I don't think we're asking for a lot to support. That's my opinion. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, somebody's got to do something or we'll move forward.
I think if this was a rural rec board issue, before you get money, you bring a financial statement forward. If we invest capital in any of the other groups that we support, we see financial statements as well, not just the ask.
Are you talking for us at the foundation? It's
I
on the,
guess.
it's on the website.
Okay.
It's
Well, maybe
public
we should
knowledge. We're
look
the
at it
website
first.
there, and it's there. You can see how much money we have. And it's showing, yeah, it's showing a lot of money right now, because we haven't paid for the CT scanner, but as soon as that money comes out, it'll be pretty low. So,
Well, should we wait till after the gala and see?
I'm
That's
just
whatever
gonna.
you guys decide.
I, whatever,
I will
I'm just
not
gonna,
make a
I'm
motion
just
on
gonna
it.
call the question, whatever it is, and if there's no question, I'm moving forward.
Well, I think everybody should be here if you want to make a decision on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, Mike's missing Mike, so, I mean, they could do it, we could move this to a March meeting and still be in time if they want to buy anything. So you want to wait till March meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, well. Nobody said anything, so I'm gonna,
Moving on.
moving on. Okay, bylaw 1690, we need, okay, the borrowing bylaw. Okay. We can do this all today, right? Okay, so you guys know the borrowing bylaw, it's to borrow up $15 million if we need it, 2% above prime. Need a first reading, moved by.
I can do that.
Okay,
Mr. Reed, if I could just make a comment on that?
yeah,
Okay. Just the changes from last year is that we're required to, by regulation now, Municipal Government Act, to indicate the maximum amount of interest, and we've put on here 10%.
Mine says
Not that,
11.
not that we're going to pay that.
Says 11 in
Mine
here.
says 11.
Says 11.
Okay.
So I
For the
could speak-
15 million, if you look
Yeah.
at section 4, it's 10%.
There's two amounts. So the first amount for 15 million is at prime plus 1%. That's for the operating line.
Okay.
Then later in the document, there's another one for the ATV MasterCard. We also have to include that on the borrowing bylaw. So that's for 15,000.
Oh,
And that's
okay,
at prime
yeah.
plus 2%.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I see that. Okay, first reading moved by Bruce. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, second reading moved by Oscar. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Motion to proceed moved by Richard. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Third and final moved by mover, Bruce. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, bylaw number 1691. This is bylaw for taxes to increase the penalty back to 12%. There was some information went out earlier. So, if you want to move it, will be the same thing. Need a first, somebody to read the first reading moved by Bruce. All in favor? Opposed? Carries. Second reading moved by Richard. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Motion to proceed moved by
I'll do that.
Robin. All in favor? Carried. Third and final moved by Bill. All in favor? Opposed? Any? It's carried. Okay, Development Officer's report. Get Kimmy in.
Did she have any numbers on the open house in that?
I heard 167, but I don't know if that's right. Neil, did you get any, or anybody get any numbers?
I heard that.
167, 162, 167. For the open house we had down at the Uniplex.
Well, I had a compliment about it. One guy said it was very good, got enough information, and he felt that there was nothing to worry about, so it wasn't all bad.
I actually had quite a few, if both ways, like,
They came in thinking there was a problem.
yeah, you're right. I think after they went around the tables, they figured it out. Okay, Kimberly, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
Okay, we got Kim's report in front of you. Any questions or comments? Just need anything else, Kim? I just from land use NDP and land use bylaw. A lot of information went out in the last few days, I heard, like up till like Tuesday on or Wednesday on, whenever it was. That's kind of slowed down. People have got what they're looking for.
Yep, just, yeah, some odd emails and stuff still.
Many questions. I see you're putting some stuff on the social media.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of address some of the common questions that people are asking and then just kind of have a post on Facebook about it, so.
So what seems to be the most common ones?
Well, just the fences and then the sea cans. Lots of people are a little concerned about that in some areas. And then just basically kind of what the updates are. But I mean, majority of it is just modernizing the wording and making that kind of
So
stuff.
did the animal units and that come up too?
Yes, but that hasn't changed.
Right.
Well, we
So-
changed it from numbers to units though, right?
No, we never
It was
changed
always
anything.
units.
So if a person has 2 horses, 2 mares on 6 acres, and they both have colts, they're not compliant.
Well, I think that's not, I don't think
That's
that's
what-
in the definition, but I don't think that I don't think it wouldn't include the colts.
Because that's what but that's what's happened. They've either had a cow or calf or a colt, and that's changed. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't redefine that as a unit is a mother and a baby. Because then you won't get into that issue.
Yeah, and I'll look that up maybe in the Agriculture
See what the definition
Practices
is.
Act
Yeah,
and-
just, because I think we need some clarity there.
For sure.
Because I was asked that question, I said, well, and I thought if you change it to a unit instead of a head, the unit would mean a mother and her offspring.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe that's something we need to clarify in it.
Because I had that question from some people who live in subdivision, multi-lot.
Are we
Yeah.
gonna review it before we?
Okay, well, the process is, 30 days for, you're given 30 days for responses. And we haven't passed the first reading yet. So,
Yes.
we gotta go through this whole process again, once we pass first reading, so.
So we have a survey out as well, like MPS put out a survey, so I'm hoping that we'll get some information from that on maybe where
No.
some of the concerns are. And then, you know, then I'm hoping MPS, we can work with them and they can come back to us and, you know, we can maybe talk about some changes and then go back to the public.
But there's no timeline though, but irregardless, the public has to the public will have another opportunity either through another open house or through a public hearing to give their concerns.
Definitely, yes.
So
Yeah,
this is.
this was just the rollout.
This is just a
Just-
rollout. There's no timelines.
No.
And if a first reading, and the first reading is not passed, there's no going forward until at least that's happened.
Correct.
So.
But we have some concerns in some of the changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are we gonna go through it once more before we even ask for it, so the changes can be made and re-presented, or?
I think we would do that at the next MPC meeting.
Yeah, I think we'll
That is
present them
the-
to you.
That's where we would do that.
Yeah.
And I think if councillors have any thoughts of what you hear, let Kim know, same as, and then we can have that discussion at MPC, and, I mean, that might help clarify some of it on the next steps,
For sure, yeah.
if that's, okay.
One
Yep.
that came up to me twice, just about third time, animal unit, a horse, a sheep. Why are they both, you know, if we're using grazing or whatever.
Okay.
Why is a
But
goat
there's 5
or a-
sheep or 2 horse.
Right.
So there's-
So the goat is the same scenario?
As a sheep.
Is the same as sheep?
Yeah. So there's more, like the smaller animals,
Right,
there's more
okay.
numbers for a unit.
Right. But they were just wondering why they're, I think it's because the word unit comes up.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how we can redefine
Yeah, I think
that.
we need to take a bit of time to
Yeah,
look at
put
that,
a list
at the
of
definitions
what a
of what
unit
it
is. I
actually
agree
means,
with that.
and
I
put it
think-
in there, so when they read it, they know what
I
it
think
means.
there's a lot of confusion over
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
you know, we mean by that.
So, okay, so that's good. I think that's good discussion, and so we know what the next steps are.
For sure, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So on Kim's report, anything else anybody has? Just need a motion to approve it, right?
So the next meeting, you'll be ready for our input on all this?
For, you mean the MPC?
Or we should bring it forward first, bring it forward before the meeting?
Yeah, or
Yeah,
at the meeting,
Yeah.
because, like, I won't be ready to present changes at the next meeting, because we have to gather the information from the public still, and,
Yeah, that's, I mean, but if you can get the counselor's stuff, and then after
Yeah.
30 days, you'll get the draft
Public.
from the people, then we'll have, like, I see probably 2 MPC meetings before we're ready, because we're gonna have to look and see what the public says.
for sure.
And
yeah.
then revamp it with Jane and,
Mhm.
Some of the comments I received was it was too short a notice. And I said, well, it's in 3
I
weeks
know.
of paper, and I don't know, how could we
Yeah, I
make
guess
that
the
better?
newspaper's not a thing anymore, so, we'll have to just up
Take
our,
that back to the corner.
we'll have to up our social media and that kind of stuff, so.
yeah.
So start it at the same time, the social
Yeah,
media?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good plan, good idea. Okay, just need a motion for Kim's report.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. All in favor? Those carried. Okay, thank you. Okay, approval of the pay sheets?
Did we have a subdivision, or does that just for
Yeah.
information?
Go ahead, Oscar.
Just information.
Okay.
I said thank you. Okay, Oscar moves the pay sheets. All in favor? Opposed of any? It's carried. I did not. Said thank you. Okay, reports. Wainwright Seed Cleaning Plant. Year to date, we cleaned 35,000 bushels. New manager seems to be working out fairly well. They got the scale repaired. It's got a new face on it, and the folks came from a scale place to recertify it. So I think he said he had about 40,000 lined up for February.
No, so things are picking up.
So things are picking up. Yep. Okay. Edgerton.
Yeah, we had a meeting in January there, and we had an appraisal done on the seed plant in case it burnt down or something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it come in at 2.6 million, and we're at 44,000 cleaned bushels, and kept the seed cleaning rate at the same as it was. And we're just a little bit behind last year right now.
Okay. FCS.
We had our regular meeting, Garth was there. And Brian King, who gave us our annual audit.
Oh, okay.
And there was a few things, 2023 Family Community Service allotment was given, a letter from Minister Nixon was read, and Rockingford report was written. I found it finally.
Okay. Foundation. Oscar, Robin, anybody?
Go ahead, Rick.
Seemed like somebody's got to talk.
Everything's gone pretty good. We had a little work out on the budget, but I think we got it ironed out too.
Okay.
There will be some repercussions to the budget that may come back to the MD. We'll approach that at our next lodge meeting,
Okay.
which will be costs. And if the costs can be endured by the MD, that'll be the question, but we haven't got a motion to it.
Yeah.
Because
So
the
you don't-
meeting went on for 3 hours as it was, so we didn't.
Yeah, you'll need a motion
Yeah,
from your board
yeah.
to move that, whatever way you want to do it. Yep.
We've really spent weeks on that budget trying to find areas we need to encourage growth, and filling rooms would help our budget huge. We've
Some
lowered,
of them thought that was the first time we looked at it, was last night.
we've lowered the age and done what we can to try. So if any of
That's
you guys
good.
want a tour, the age is 60.
So what are the ages now?
60.
It's still 65. You can apply at
Could
60.
be younger yet if there's
No.
other issues?
Quit saying that.
That's
It's happening.
That's part of the issue that we will discuss further.
Because we
I'll
talked
talk to you.
about it
Oh, I
at
know.
Yes.
FCS.
They're going
You can put in
55.
an application,
I talked to
and
James
the
Martin.
board will
Everything there's at 55.
look over that.
Wanting
You
me to
know,
fulfill those
they've
things.
been asked by AISH or different organizations. We need to start.
Not what I.
So if you're taking H patients
We are not
in-
currently taking AISH.
No, but if you were,
Yeah.
that would solve the money issues?
Maybe, depends.
What's that?
If the
you're
rooms, if
taking
the
AISH
rooms
in.
were full, yes, it would solve a lot of
It
issues.
would solve all the issues. We wouldn't be at, we wouldn't have to spend 10 days on working on the budget, me and Robin, but.
So obviously there was
And Bob looked at
disagreement.
it, and Neil was involved in it, and it's not that we ain't putting the time into it.
The cost of living,
No,
like
nobody's saying
utilities
that.
and food have gone up so much that
And it is a senior
So is there
facility.
a chance of raising
we did
the
raise,
rate?
yes, we raised the rent January and again in July.
So did the seniors get a raise?
Yes,
Because
they-
you have to leave them so much, the
Yep.
ones that are on, what, senior benefits?
Yep, they increased the amount that you leave them, not by a whole lot, but that's all taken into consideration, yeah.
And that didn't help, or
No.
not enough?
Not as much as
But
you'd
you
like.
have low rate, occupancy rate, right?
Yep.
So did you guys do anything with the $100 that the province is paying all seniors?
We took,
For 6 months?
we increased the rooms by $15 in January, and we're going again for, I
No,
believe,
but I'm talking about that $100 that they're,
Oh,
the
that
$100
That's why
you're giving
we're
the
gonna
seniors.
increase again in July, knowing that they have more money from January to June.
Oh.
So the increase will come in July.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like you've worked on
And
it.
some of them don't fall, it ain't gonna matter. There's only a handful in there that
Yeah.
actually.
But the senior benefit thing?
Pardon?
That senior
They all got
benefit
the
thing?
seniors benefit.
Yeah, I'll get senior.
No.
Okay, any other questions for the foundation people? Okay, the landfill, we are meeting it next week. 911,
We haven't had a meeting.
foundation, Bill?
Yeah. I guess you've probably seen the piece in the paper, the local paper. The CT scanner officially kicked off doing scans on February 14th, Valentine's Day, and I haven't, as far as I know, it's still operating, and I haven't heard of any issues. AHS comes out with a report on Friday of the foundations in and around Alberta, and last Friday is the upgrade to the obstetrics, and it highlights the Riom family and the monetary donation to the Wainwright Health Center. And I think if anybody read the local paper, it was also in there last week. I received as well a nice letter from AHS, identifying the community and the surrounding area for all the recent donations given to the CT scanner. They praised the foundation's commitment as well to working with the AHS and to the betterment of our health center. Other than that, we're just working on the gala. We're preparing the gala to buy as many beds as we possibly can. We'll see how that goes.
What kind of hours do you expect the CT scanner to be able to supply with the staff provided?
I don't have a clue. I don't get into that, Robin. I know they're wanting a soft start, and I can see the soft start, and they're talking 6 scans per day in case something goes wrong. I mean, there's no sense having a lineup of 15 people and something going wrong and sending them home, so.
Do you know how many hours they'll work at minutes per day? Like, once it's operating, do you know how many hours it will work for? Like, is it 8 to 4?
No,
or is that- you don't know that?
I think that's still under HS, and I don't really know if they're.
They're not prepared to provide any more staff.
No,
they're not. And as far as increase in the scans, I've heard rumors too that the scans won't increase. It'll just take the pressure off. Take the pressure off of Camrose in Edmonton or Lloydminster or wherever else. So.
Oh. Okay, Northern Lights, Robin?
We have a meeting Friday. They've gone to Zoom meetings a little less frequently than monthly, just to try and save their budget as well, so I look forward to that on Friday.
Okay, economic development?
We talked a lot about nurse recruitment and not LPN, but what's the other one
Nurse
that's going?
practitioners.
Yeah, and some of the developments around town, you know, looking for different options, like even the charging systems, stuff like that for these new electric cars and parking for big trucks and, yeah, well, of course, the water break, it came up.
Yeah.
They may have to redo Second Avenue. I think engineers are looking into that there, so. Yeah, it was a good discussion, just more or less roundtable on just different events that are happening and, yeah,
Okay.
nothing really jumps out at me, so.
Okay, motion to approve the reports.
I'll do that.
Thanks, Robin. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Motion to adjourn.
Billy, get your hand up. It's your birthday.
Yeah. Oscar, thank you. Okay, thanks, everybody.